Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our virtual cultural exchange between Morocco and Gibraltar. This event is organized jointly by the Gibraltar-Morocco Business Association, of which Mr. Clive Reid is the president, and the Strait of Gibraltar Association, of which Mr. Brahim Krikas is president. I am Henry Sacramento, your host this evening. Today, we feature a very well-known Gibraltarian. But before I introduce him, let us see some footage of some of his work so far.
Are you all my personal dreams? Everything you know is in your mind.
And of course, I need to thank Mr. Abdelhani Goukus for the editing and montage of our intro video. Thank you very much, as always, your tops. You've probably guessed it already, but he was born in Gibraltar on the 9th of March 1977. He studied at Mount View Academy, has worked at Tokyo Disney Sea, GBC Radio, Open Wide International. He is a singer, performer, producer, director at Santos Production, and principal at the Gibraltar Academy of Music and the Performing Arts. Recently appointed Mayor of Gibraltar. Good evening and welcome His Worship the Mayor of Gibraltar, Mr. Christian Santos.
Hi.
Hi,
How are you,
Christian.
Henry? Good evening.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Really happy to be able to share some time with you and everyone who's watching.
What a pleasure to have you with us, Christian. Your Worship, share with us, what is it like to be the Mayor of Gibraltar?
Well, it's for me, it's an honor and a privilege to have been given the opportunity, to represent the people of Gibraltar in this civic capacity. It's something I've always looked forward to, and I just didn't expect for it to come my way so soon, to be honest. And it's come quite early in my life when I've got lots of energy and a lot of ideas that I want to put forward. And it's all about celebrating the people of Gibraltar and everyone who's a Gibraltarian by not only birth, but also by choice. And it's an honor, really.
It really is an honor to have you as the Mayor of Gibraltar, because traditionally, as you say, it's people at a more advanced age, people who've retired from their professions. Are you the youngest mayor Gibraltar has ever seen?
Actually, Cayenne Cayenne Lopez, who was Miss World, she's was also mayor of Gibraltar. I'm the 19th mayor. She was the 17th mayor. She's much younger than me.
Right.
But I'm one of the youngest, yeah. After Cayenne, I think I could possibly be the youngest after her.
Christian, and already in the short term that you've been in office, you've been doing an amazing job. You've embarked on the We Are One campaign. Let me ask you, who has been your biggest inspiration in life?
There are many people. I know it sounds like a very generic answer, but I have different key players in my life. For me, with regards to my musical career, my biggest inspirations have been my teachers from when I was a young age, Charlie and Helen Chappie, they were people who believed in me, and not only believed in me, but made me believe in myself. They gave me the knowledge that I needed, but not only musically, but also as a person, and backed up my ambition and what I wanted to achieve, and made something which at the time wasn't necessarily that mainstream, because now people study the arts much more freely.
More openly, yes.
Yeah, before it used to be something a little bit more select and something that didn't seem like it was ever going to be a career choice. So in that regard, it's been them. But then I know this is the biggest cliche, but my family are the ones who not only support and celebrate me, but accept everything that I put forward, not only as an idea with regards to work or who I or what I want to achieve, but who I am as a person, what my ideas and my morals and my lifestyle and how I want to lead my life and my personality. They've always accepted me in every sense of the word. That for me has been a true inspiration, because it has guided me towards how I look at life and how I choose to support other people around me, which is about believing in them and making them reach their full potential.
What a blessing, Christian. How fortunate you are to have had such support with your family. We have our president, Brahim Kikasa, says, on behalf of all executives and members of the Straits of Gibraltar Association, it is such an honor and a great pleasure to welcome His Worship, the Gibraltar Mayor, Mr. Christian Santos. It is a very good step to enhance rapprochement and exchange between the Kingdom of Morocco and Gibraltar. We see that Gibraltar is a twin of Tangier City, though many historical common points and characters, especially the leader Tariq Ibn Zayed as a great personality who opened the whole Andalusia, and now it's disappeared. So thank you very much. You're welcome from our president.
Thank you very much. And it's an honor
Christian,
to be able to share this time with everyone on the other side of, the other pillar of Hercules, as we say.
see, and let me remind our viewers that they can put their questions to His Worship the Mayor during the program at any time that they feel free to do so. You worked with Disney. How long were you with Disney, and what was that like?
I was very fortunate to work for Disney for 6 years. I went to train abroad. I went to Nottingham first, and then went to a musical theatre school in London, and I got to work, and my base was London for a long period of time, and I worked there. And at one point I got a job. I got a job in a national tour. Actually, it was for the show Saturday Night Fever, and at the same time I got offered Disney. And at the time I rejected Disney because I wanted to go on tour. And then literally the day after, the tour got cancelled. It was one of those things that it seemed to be fate. So I took the job with Disney, and it's been one of my best experiences and biggest and most correct choices that I made. I learned everything I know today, and I teach my students at the academy today. I learned in my experience there. I was there for 2 years on the cruise ship, and then I worked 4 years at Tokyo Disney Sea and Tokyo Disneyland in Japan, and I did many special events as well. I did some in Florida, and I did some in Paris, like one-off events. So it was a fantastic experience. It's one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. So you get treated like a superstar, and people really make you feel like you're something special. And it's a really professional environment where everything, the theater, the stage, the sound, the lights, everything it's a great experience to have as your daily job, to wake up and sing and dance and act on a Disney show.
Yeah, I suppose that the reaction from the children that come to watch you must have been priceless.
Yes, it was. That was one of the best bits. The support of the audience. I never got to play any type of Disney character as such. I was always a vocalist within a show, so I got to work with Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and Cinderella and all the princesses and all the heroes and everyone from all the characters we love. And the kids especially make it really worthwhile. They really make you feel like you're part of the magic. And it really is a job that I will always carry with me. And every day when I finished work on my way home, I got to see the fireworks, and it just made you remember what you were doing and how important your job was.
I have to ask you, which one of the Disney characters is your favorite?
My goodness, too many. Uh, I love them all at the time. It's like you get to know them. I'm one for Belle because I think she's the true epitome of what I believe in, and what I believe the role of the woman should be. And she's a woman who reads and believes in herself and is an adventurer and believes in love and just goes through her everyday life feeling independent. And even the fact that she was considered different, it made her feel special. And that is something that I really believe in as one of my, one of my aims in life. And she truly signifies all that.
Tell me, Christian, what has been the most challenging role that you've ever played? Because you've played untold roles on theatre. Which has been your most challenging?
I've been very fortunate to have been gifted with so many different roles, many different experiences, from musicals to drama. I remember when I was younger, I was involved in a play called As You Like It, and it was a small role, but it was a Shakespeare play. It was my first experience with Shakespeare. I know it's one of my amateur roles, but that was at the time the hardest one that I've ever attempted, and one of the ones that at the time was the one I found the hardest. I needed to understand the text. Shakespeare works with iambic pentameter. You needed to work with how it was written, and it was almost already directed before you actually even got to do that. In my younger years, that was always the mark for how difficult I found an experience. But then, to be honest, the one I found challenging for a completely different reason was when I played Eddie Lyons in Blood Brothers, which is a production I did here with my colleague Julian Felice, and we played twin brothers. It's not a difficult role. It was a very difficult role for me because I didn't really identify with the character as such.
I was going to say, I remember seeing you in that role in Blood Brothers, and I have to say that both Priscilla and I were extremely impressed because you did. In no way did you play yourself. You were out of your comfort zone, and I think that on that occasion is when people must have seen what a true actor, que pedazo de artista, I thought, to be able to put aside the Christian Santos that we'd always known with being involved with comical and comedy and the musicals that you produce, and you were playing for the first time that I had ever seen you in a very serious role. And having seen the musical at the West End, I can tell you that both yourself and your colleague did an amazing job. I mean, you forgot that you were in Gibraltar in a theatre in Gibraltar. We were transported, as if we were in the West End. So my congratulations on the role because I can identify and understand el pedazo de papel that you actually did.
Thank you very much. It's what you say. It's really away from my comfort zone. And here in Gibraltar, I've created this persona with regards to the comedy shows that I do, and I kind of end up playing variations of myself or what people expect me to play. And that, as you say, is completely out of my comfort zone. And it's not even a difficult role. It was just difficult for me.
Yeah. On another note, Christian, you were the master of ceremonies for the homecoming of Miss World, Kayan Ardorino, now Lopez, in 2009. Was that the most memorable occasion so far that you've hosted?
That is a magical moment. And everyone who visits City Hall, I tell them, that was the day I thought, I really would like to represent this community and from right here, because standing in that balcony, introducing one of our own who had achieved something that we never dreamed possible. And it was something that truly brought Gibraltar together because it was non-political. There was no alliances. It was the whole of Gibraltar celebrating the achievement of one of our own. And looking out of that balcony and seeing a packed John McIntosh Square, Main Street, the whole of Gibraltar with flags, that was for me the moment that I felt the proudest to be a Gibraltarian, and one of the most memorable moments I have ever experienced in my life.
See, I think that a lot of people can identify with that, and we all remember where we were at that moment. Oh, we have Daryl Mosley Ferro joining us from the United States that says, greetings from New York City, and congratulations on your new appointment as I worship the mayor of our beloved homeland here in the States. We're all thrilled about it. Awesome. So thank you very much, Daryl, for joining us all the way from the United States. And we
Thank you very
have...
much, Carol. And it's to represent all Gibraltarians, whether we're here or whether we're away. We're all one, and I'm so proud to be able to represent you, even though you're on the other side of the world.
Gibraltar Morocco Business Exchange says a big welcome to his worship. So thank you very much, Gibraltar Morocco Business. And we have Ana Maria Morro saying, what an amazing life, what an interesting life, Christian. Thank you, Ana Maria, joining us from Gibraltar.
Thank you very much.
You know, what inspires you to write the comedy musicals that you have written, produced, and starred in? Because you don't just write them, you don't just produce them, but you more than likely always play the main role or one of the main roles. And that has to be one of the most difficult things that a person does, because there are some good producers, there are some good writers, but to be able to write, produce, and play an amazing role is not very common. Tell us about that.
The Janico comedy, Henry, is something that is, you know, when you have like your own child and it grows up and no one seems to understand except yourself. Well, this is one of those things. Richard, Mo, and I, he's my yin. You know, we are like yin and yang. We're completely opposite people. We're best friends. And when we were 16, we started writing sketches. And then this developed into what is now the big full-scale Nico show. We started we did one night, then we did 3 nights. Then now the ones that we do 7 days and 9 performances. What inspires me? Gibraltar, our community, walking out into the street and listening to one catchphrase, and you think that inspires a whole scene. It is an observation of who we are as a culture and a community, a society, and as a people. And we are a unique type of community. We have a mixture of so many different communities that have integrated to create what we know now as the Gibraltarian. We live in a community where, as you know, we've got people from all over the world, different faith communities living together. We've got the Jewish faith, the Moroccan faith, the Islamic faith, I mean, the Moroccan community, the English, from the, people from all over the world who have joined in this tiny little place that we call home. And this creates for the most interesting life in such a small scale. So I'm inspired by going to a shop and seeing someone talk to their friend. I'm inspired by sitting in that waiting room. I'm inspired by my friends. And the way we write is quite interesting because I don't think whilst I write. I put my pen to paper or hands to keyboard, and I send my friend Richard, I send him 8 pages that then he edits down to 2. And then that's how it works. And he writes and I add extra, and we've got a great combination of what both our experiences are in completely different parts of Gibraltar.
Was El Talego the first one you ever wrote?
No, the first one actually was that El Talego was like the stepping stone. That was the first one that we did quite big. But the year before, we did a production of Fame that had started the year before that in 1997. We did a sketch for Fame. We did a sketch for a telenovela. We did a sketch on a Halloween one. We did all types of sketches. And then we went for full length. The first full length was only 2 days. And it was Fame. El Talego then went on to 3 days. Now, El Talego was filmed in GBC. And it was like a rebirth of what people like Elio Cruz and Cecil Gomez and a whole different generation had already done. But it kind of stopped for a while. And then we kind of picked it up and made it into a more, we looked at our current situation, how we were living at the moment. And we were really, they caught on to it. And then I was away for 12, this was 1998. I didn't come back till 2007. And then
Sorry, can I just stop you there? Because at the time when you were producing El Talego, I remember that you were working as interpreter at the Magistrates Court. How did that in any way influence El Talego?
I was actually speaking to my mom about it yesterday, and my mom, I was talking to my friends, and my mom said, "Remember when you were working in the court?" Because we were trying to find out what year it was, and she said it was the year you graduated, because the year before and that year you were working in the magistrate's court, and you said, "Oh, Mom, I really like it. This has really inspired me." And my mom thought that I meant I want to be a lawyer. And I said, "No, this has inspired me to write a play." So
Yes.
it was completely 100% inspired by my time at the magistrate's court.
I just thought I'd mention that because as a policeman at the time, I remember seeing you at the court, and then I remember going to see El Talego and thinking, I wonder how much of this he's picked up from actually being in court. And
It inspired a full song um, about different people explaining why they were in jail, and the phraseology that
Your
we
Honor,
used. Unique.
yeah,
The Your Honor, we made a
the
full
Your Honor.
of Your Honor, Your Honor. And it was,
See,
I never like give it to you, Your Honor. Right? And it was like a
I,
song.
yeah, and it was quite a catchy song. I remember. Wow,
Yeah.
okay, what
And it was
interesting memories.
shot. Yeah, because I was working abroad for a whole like 12, 13 years after that. And then we picked it up years later. But people still remember El Talego a lot, as if it
Yes,
was yesterday. And El Talego
yeah.
was 20, it was, my goodness, I think it was like 23 or 24 years ago.
Wow, as far back as that.
Yeah. I was 19 at the time, I think 20.
Wow.
What was it?
I mean, both Priscilla and I mention you quite often because the Henpris was born in one of your productions where both Priscilla and I played the judges of the South District for Gibbo Vision, which
Yeah.
was the Janito version of the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
And you kept referring to us as Henpris. And of course, Henpris at hotmail.com has been our email address since like forever. But you were the one that started calling us Henpris. And as you
Yeah.
probably
Because
know,
carry on.
as you
It
probably
was
know,
basic.
we ended up naming our house in Tangier that Henpris because of you.
I know, and I feel so honored because it was at the time when famous couples were their names are combined, like when Jennifer Aniston and Ben Affleck, and they were called Benifer. And all those things, I thought, Henpris, there are local celebrity couple. And
Christian, our technician is asking, do you have headphones that you can use? Because we can hear a lot of crackling. If you have headphones, if you could use them, we may be able to improve the quality of the sound coming from your end.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I don't have the extension. I would need to leave the room. I don't want to leave you.
Right. Let's try and talk slower because there's a lot of crackling from your side. And I know that we can get very excited when we talk and want to say things so fast. So just try and pace yourself a little bit. Okay.
Is it better now?
Slightly, I think. So as we were saying, I mean, I remember you referring to us as Henpris. Oh, it's Henpris. Because, claro, the judging part was pre-recorded. And then on the night, it played as if you were linking by satellite to the judges in the various different districts in Gibraltar. So I just thought I'd mention...
and I would time my responses to what was being said in the video. So I took all the videos home, and I took all the videos home and rehearsed what I would reply to the people who had already pre-recorded this. And of course, it was Henpris. And I remember you were dressed up and you had champagne, and it was a full
Absolutely. We were the judges from the South District with the distinguished microclimate. And the interesting thing is that when you gave us the script and we recorded it, we had no idea what was going to be happening in the play until we actually went to the theatre and sat down and saw how everything blended in and linked in so well.
Yeah. And you have to mention that you actually, in our version of Greece, as the angel.
Yes, I did. I mean, I had a blast because I've always loved theatre, but I can't for the life of me sing. And I remember when we pre-recorded my voice, you sung over my voice so that it would sound more decent
Yes,
on stage.
yes. It was our own version of autotune.
Yes. See, what an amazing experience. Oh, we have Stephen Marin joining us now, and he says, as a family friend of yours, I was very proud to hear about your appointment. Congrats, and as secretary of Morocco Business Association, I am very excited about the many opportunities your appointment will bring to both Morocco and Gibraltar, especially on the possibility of twinning both cities, given Tangier was one of the places Gibraltarians were evacuated. In what other ways you feel we can bring together both cities? Thank you, Stephen, for your question.
Well, I twinning with Tangiers is a very obvious twinning Gibraltar and Tangiers. Our history brings us together, as Stephen mentioned. We have that's one of the places that Gibraltarians were evacuated, which was, as we know, like a huge part of our history. So we've also got a lot of cultural similarities because we had a huge community of people from Morocco here who are now, what we also have now is people who were descendants of or are of Moroccan descent who are now born Gibraltarians. We have generations of new Gibraltarians. We're now on our third generation of Moroccan Gibraltarians. Our cultures blend really well. We've been working together in many different, like I've worked for many years with the Cheshire Homes Association, which is an association in Tangiers that we kind of have in Gibraltar, and we fundraise here. And our cultures are very much married because of where we come from. People come over here, we respect each other's faiths and cultures and identities, and I think that we could work not only with the cultural exchanges that are happening now, but even further. There are many different projects that once we twin, we can really look into. There's a lot of support for the Moroccan community here in Gibraltar because they played a very important part in our society when the frontier was closed. And this is something that our community is eternally grateful for.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it is something that before used to be like more separate communities. You know, before we used to have first generation Moroccans, some of which didn't even really speak the language here. But now these people, these members of this community have formed their families, their homes, and their lives here. So they're a part of our community that we love and cherish and really celebrate and appreciate. So there's so much that we can do between Tangiers and Gibraltar.
Well, it's great news to hear, and we look forward to working together in many future projects. I have to ask you, how do you combine everything that you do, not just your role as mayor, everything that you do, with married life?
Well, I'm a bit of a workaholic, and but I'm a great manager of time. I manage my time really well, and I'm very organized. So I can organize and compartmentalize every different aspect of my life. I can timetable and schedule my working hours. I'm very fortunate that in this industry, in the entertainment industry, we always manage our time. This is not a 9-to-5 job. So I have tasks that I set myself for the week. So here at the Academy, I say I need to achieve this, and this, and this is the time I'm going to use for this. My role as mayor the same. I assign some time and slots for my time as mayor, and then my home life is precious. My weekends are precious for me and my husband, and my evenings are precious. And either I do events or I attend events with my husband, or we spend time at home. It's all about compartmentalizing. He works shifts as well, so when we have time, we spend a lot of time together because we don't have kids. So our time is for us. And you know how it is, Henry. I actually always go back to my husband, and you might not ever remember this, but when you were doing Greece, and I remember in an interval, Priscilla came to see you backstage at one point, and I asked her, and I said, Henry, how do you keep your love so fresh and so, so alive. And you said, always give yourselves at least 5 minutes, and it's only 5 minutes a day, that you give yourselves 100% with no distractions, and don't go to bed angry. And I mention that all the time, and we say it. I go home and I'm like, okay, 5 minutes of love, because 5 minutes where there's no TV, there's no anything. We just sit for a minimum of 5 minutes. This could go on forever, but sometimes it's all about giving yourself that time and respecting that time, which is precious.
Totally, totally. See, I always say, and it's funny because throughout the life, you say things to people and you say them, and then that's it. But the fact that you remember that just goes to show how important it was for you to hear those words at the time and actually implement it. Well, I honestly feel very humbled and honored that we were able to help you in that way to have quality time and the keep the flame alive, because yesterday, in fact, Priscilla and I celebrated our 26th wedding anniversary, but in December we will be celebrating our 34 years of togetherness.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so yeah, going strong.
We only got married. We only got married, though, but we were 8. Uh, and we want to celebrate our 10th anniversary of being together more than the married one, because for me, from day one is as important as the day that we said I do. So
Absolutely.
I'm very fortunate that I waited until I found my soulmate. So I feel very blessed and privileged to be able to spend time with my other half and enjoy every minute that we spend together. Do we fight? Yes, of course. I fight with the wall if I have to. I'm a complete person. Just because I'm very passionate and everything is like a big deal. But those fights last very little. We love spending time with each other, and I think it's precious time that we need to appreciate. And I'm very fortunate to know from day one that I need to appreciate that time and that time is precious. So I really respect that time, and it's ours to make memories and for us to share our time together.
And long may you be able to do so. We have Carla from Casablanca saying, welcome to His Worship the Mayor. I'm sure you have been many times in Morocco. Kindly share with us your experiences and memories across the kingdom.
I have 2 big ones. I have lots, but I'll tell you about 2. One is when I was very young and the frontier was closed, and my family is from Spain. So we had to travel by boat to Tangiers, change, get a boat to Algeciras, and then journey on. So my first experience of Morocco was just a pit stop. But then what I love about Morocco in my time that I've been when I'm older, because I've been a lot of times, and as I mentioned, I always go to Dar el Hana. Henry's disappeared, or have we all disappeared? I'll continue. I go to Dar el Hana a lot to help at the Cheshire homes over there. And what I love the most is how welcoming everyone is. Even if we don't speak the same language, we do share the same experiences. So going to Tangiers, what I always bring with me, other than the obvious, the food. I love the food. I love the soccer, and I love the experiences that I've had there with that, which is always, it's a stunning part of your culture. But for me, what I really take is how warm people are and how welcoming. People are very proud of Morocco. People are very, very proud of Morocco, and that is something that I really admire. I love when people are passionate about their country. And
I always say that the word hospitality was invented in Morocco.
Yeah, I love when I go to the confectionaries and the sweet shops and the dulcecitos, those shops, and how well you're treated in general. Like every little thing I really enjoy. Every little thing with regards to making you feel welcome and wanting to share that culture with you. And that is something that I admire from anywhere that I go in the world, but it's very, very visible in Morocco.
See, I mean, look, I have to say that here in Gibraltar at Casemates we have a stand, Mohammed, that sells the sweets and the bread and the crepes, and you know, for a moment when you go down there and you start speaking to Mohammed, you think that you are in Morocco for a moment, but you're actually in Casemates because you can actually buy those things here in Gibraltar. So, see, I'm totally with you on that.
And my husband actually speaks very fondly of Morocco. He used to have lots of friends. So in his youth and his 20s, he used to spend a lot of time in Morocco. He actually speaks some Arabic. So when he meets his friends, it's not fluent. He used to be much more, but he's quite fluent. He's got quite a big vocabulary. And he teaches me a lot about the food and the culture when we meet his friends. And I don't know, I love Shakir as well, which he introduced me to, which I had actually tried before.
I was going to ask you, what is your favorite Moroccan dish, Christian?
Shakir, I love. I love harira. But Shakir, I love.
See, if I had to choose one, I would say the pastela. And incidentally, last night we had one of the most amazing seafood pastela for our anniversary. A family who's now doing catering from home, and you can order from them, giving them 2 days' notice. I have to say, it's the best seafood pastela we have ever had. Amazing, amazing, really, really amazing. Buenísimo.
Go on your Facebook, actually.
Yes, I had to post it because, you know me, I'm always sharing positive stuff, especially food and you know, and sharing with people so that we can enhance and help people enjoy what I'm enjoying or what Henpris is enjoying. Con que increíble, sí, really, really, really nice. Anything else you want to share with us, Christian, which we haven't mentioned? Oh gosh, we have Daryl back. Your Worship, as our new mayor, what are your ambitions and goals to further enhance our business relationships with the Kingdom of Morocco? Thank you. Thank you, Daryl, for putting that question to His Worship.
The business relationships is beyond my remit as mayor. As you know, this is not a political role as such. What I would love to do is try and I've already spoken to parts of the Moroccan youth community because I'm working with them for a project next year for 7 days, introducing what the culture of behind Ramadan and that festivity is and what they do. I've got different events lined up. I can work culturally with regards to the business side. It's not in my remit as such, but I am very open to discussions with everyone because even though I can't make those choices, I may have access to the person who can help out, you know? So especially when we come to the twinnings between Gibraltar and Tangiers, this is something that can be discussed with the relevant sources, and I think between all of us we can come up with something, especially the time now where we've got an association already in Morocco that's run by Stephen and Brahim, who are working on the business relationships. I think they're the ones who are really working hard with the ministry here in Gibraltar, and I'm sure that they'll be able to, you know, make the links, the necessary links to link both business communities.
See, I can vouch for the hard work that goes on behind the scenes because, as you know, Priscilla and I are the patrons of the Straits of Gibraltar Association, so we get invited to a lot of the stuff that happens over there. When we're over there, we attend a lot of functions, and a lot of very good work is being done in preparation for hopefully when the links are there again, they can be exploited to the maximum for both business and culture alike.
Yeah, exactly. Once the doors are open, it's all about taking every opportunity and running with it a little bit, I think.
Christian, let me throw a question at you. If you had to choose one production out of all the ones that you've done, which one would you keep? I know it's a difficult one.
Really difficult one, and I'll tell you why it's difficult. It's the different types. It's the one Janito, one with the kids, one more dramatic for the drama festival, because there's different types. I loved doing Greece. The Janito version of Greece was one of my favorites that we.
What a blast! We had a blast every evening.
Yeah, we had such a great time and so recognizable. Then Blood Brothers for me was, we've spoken about, but for me is one of my proudest moments.
Yeah.
All the things that I do with the kids are equally important because you see the work that they put in and how you've inspired them. And then I did one for the Drama Festival called I Am Me, about gender and sexuality. And I think that was a very important one for where the youth were at the time.
A very
It's
important
difficult to
message.
choose.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's difficult.
we haven't spoken about your choir. With Santos Production, you have an amazing choir. Share with us, because you went and you won a prize not so long ago. How was that?
Okay, so the choir was the beginning of my academy. When I came back, I always wanted to have an academy for kids, and I started with a talent show. The children one day, and I had 7 kids. My group, it grew from 7 to 11. From 11, we did a small concert, and we went to 30, and then it grew to like 100 odd students. The choir has always had about 40 to 45 kids. That is my pride and joy, really. My choir is like my little baby that I kind of nurture, and kids come and go, and they leave, but they remain in my life, and they come back, and they work at the academy. We, as you mentioned, we decided to go into competitions. The first competition that we did, we went to Manchester in the UK, and it was at the Royal Northern College of Music, and we came second in our first competition. We then went to travel to Barcelona, and we were second again in the pop category. Then we went to the European Choir Games in Austria, and we won both categories. We won gold in gospel and pop. Then we've been to many other competitions. We're always in the top three or four, depends. We always do really well in the world circuit and the European circuit, considering what a small place we are, and that every child can take part in the choir. It's not a selection. It's you walk in through the door. Doesn't matter what your ability is. We teach you to reach your full potential. I'm a tough choir master, and I not only teach them how to sing. For me, it goes beyond that. My ethos in the Academy of Music and Performing Arts in Gampa is about teaching them transferable skills through music and performance that they will then be able to use and take onto the outside world and use in any job and any opportunities that they encounter in life, that they're well-rounded, disciplined, well-managed individuals.
And what an amazing job you're doing, I have to say, because not only do they come across as amazing singers, but they're always immaculately attired, and the choreographies, do you also do the choreography for them?
I used to, but then now I've got Erica Nagrave, who comes and joins us at the academy. She teaches dance at Gampa, and she does the choreography, and she's equally passionate about young people, and we make a great team, and we get on really well, and we do great work together.
And we have Nora from Tangier that says, welcome to his worship and thanks for the Strait of Gibraltar Association for this opportunity. I think Gibraltar is such a great place to do an international Mediterranean festival for short movies. Who can join many Mediterranean nations together? Don't you think so, Your Worship, that it's time to set up a festival, can join Gibraltar cinema and Moroccan cinema together? Thank you very much, Nora. Food for thought.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I love short movies. There's a lot of that filming and production going on at the moment. We live in a world where, for me, I find it very difficult to commit to a full-length movie now. I have to see it in 3 different bits. And any festival that can bring communities together is an integral part of our community, especially in Gibraltar, where we have so many different communities. So it would be fantastic to be able to do a Mediterranean short film festival and welcome everyone from different parts, so we can all see and experience what other people from other parts of our neighboring countries are doing.
Absolutely. We look forward to it. Especially Martin Nusa is doing amazing productions recently. He's doing very, 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 very well. We have Layashi El Haboush saying Moroccan professional entertainers such as acrobats, tumblers, gymnasts, dancers, and jugglers have been crossing Gibraltar ever since 1830, or even before, in order to perform in British, French, Spanish, German, and American theatres and circuses. Have you ever met Moroccan professional entertainers beyond borders?
Well, I've been quite fortunate to meet a lot. I've met mainly artists like painters. There's been a lot of cultural exchanges that they've brought people from Morocco over and taken people from Gibraltar over. So I here in Gibraltar, I've met mainly artists. When I was in Japan, I actually, excuse me, I was actually involved in an audition for Cirque du Soleil at the time. They called a lot of us singers from Disney. They were going to do a like a residence in Tokyo, like they did in Disneyland in Orlando. So we all went to rehearse, and I went through phase after phase, and at the end I was kept to the last two, and we worked with the team there. And actually, there were four Moroccan. They were from Moroccan descent. I don't know where from Morocco, but they were. I remember one of them was from Morocco directly, and the other three were Arabic. I don't know where they were from, but it was from North Africa. I don't what was from that area. And I worked with them on a piece because we had to combine creating music together with movement. And they were four floor acrobats, like gymnasts, but they worked with balls and cubes. And I remember speaking to them because it was the one time I felt like I was close to home, ironically, because everyone there was either American or Japanese, and there was very few Europeans or anyone that was close by. So other than the two other British singers from the UK, this was the closest I actually got to feel to home. So it was fantastic to be able to create with them.
Wow. I've experienced firsthand in Tangier, where you're sitting at the Cinema Riff Cafe, and all of a sudden this man comes with a young boy, and they start doing all these wonderful acrobatic things there and then, and it's amazing to see, the ability and the talent that there is. So, we look forward to seeing some more of that. Christian, te tengo que preguntar, el cuento, when you did el cuento, and you compared Priscilla with the Little Mermaid. Because of her long hair, and then there was another one where you interpreted Rocío Jurado with, and you said the song reflected the love. Te amo como ta 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 ta, and then you came out and said te amo como Henry quiere a Priscilla.
Yes.
And I thought that was so funny, the fact that you always refer to the love that we have for each other.
You know why? Every time we do that Janito comedy, when we find out who's on, we do that for when the person is on. So I changed the lyrics when you were on. So
Wow.
the day that you came to watch it, we added that one. And then I do that sometimes. I see people coming and I'm like, I'm going to change that. But you know what happens, Henry, with what you said about your love for each other is because you're very much as you're both individuals, you've both had great careers as individuals. We all know what your track record is in your profession, and Priscilla in St. Martin's and as a designer. And we know you both are successful individuals, but your partnership and working together is so iconic. It is. It's very iconic, Henry, because you're a couple that lives and breathes together.
And every moment.
An example of what couples used to be like before, and now we kind of need to get that back,
See, well, we're quite happy to know that we are influencers in a positive way to other people. We got Stephen Marin again that says, might be an idea, Henry, you share your experience with our chosen charity, the Deaf School, when you started teaching them movement and dance. Thank you, Stephen, for reminding me. During my last lockdown, or what some people call I was stranded, and I just feel I happened to be at the right time at the right place when flights were discontinued to Spain and I had no way of returning to Gibraltar. one of the charities or one of the things that Strait of Gibraltar Association does is they support a school for the deaf or the hearing impaired in Tangier. And we were privileged enough to have been given a tour as a result of an art exhibition that they had, where we went and we purchased to support them pictures, and we were given a tour of the school. And one of the things that I noticed was that they had a theatre room, and I said, well, what do you do here? Well, we sometimes have, people that come, and I said, actually, I could give you drama lessons. And for a few weeks running, I actually had the privilege, because it was a complete privilege to me, to, for the first time ever, teach a full class of teenagers, young pupils with hearing impairment. And I tell you, if the kids had a blast, I don't know who had the biggest blast, because it took me back to Bayside Drama Studio when Lionel Perez and Mario Arroyo used to teach us dance drama, because I was able to use all those techniques that they taught at the time. So, I look forward to, when I go back, to be able to continue that, because, we can always make a difference. It really can.
Teaching. I find that teaching young people is inspiring wherever you are, with whatever type of child you teach. But teaching young people with a special need or disability of sorts truly makes you realize that a disability is not necessarily is just a different type of ability.
Absolutely,
and it's our job to find different ways to teach and
to bring out the best. Yeah,
exactly, because sometimes it's us who have a problem, that we are unable to communicate the way that they need to be communicated with.
Yes.
And I learned that when I was teaching for a year and a half. I taught music at St. Martin's, and I always mention that, and not in a patronizing way at all, like, oh, what a shame, at all. What I loved is that it was truly challenging, and not because the kids were challenging, but because I had to find new ways to keep my teaching fresh and teach it differently, and teach it in a way that I could communicate with them in a way that they would understand. And to this day, I still drop by St. Martin's. I love it, and I love what I learned about myself and what I could achieve if I really set my mind to it, because those kids really are warriors and fighters, the way that we really all should be.
Absolutely, and full praise and admiration for so many professionals that work there and throughout the years have worked, the therapists, the teachers, the classroom aides, a lot which seems to be taken for granted these days.
Yeah.
Exactly. Christian, what a pleasure and an honor it has been to have you with us. And let me throw you one last question, unless there's something else you want to share with us before we leave, because we are coming up to 1 hour. How do you see your term as mayor making a difference?
My aim is to make everyone in the community feel like the city hall belongs to them, like I represent every member of the community, no matter your background, social economic background, religion, gender, sexual preference. You're all part of the same community. I'm trying very hard to leave my mark and make everyone feel like they're welcome and they're unique. I want to celebrate every member of our community just for being a member of our community, because achievement is non-comparative. What is an achievement for someone is something different to someone else. So for me, are you a part of our community? Yes. Am I going to celebrate you? Yes. So I hope everyone in our community feels like I have made them proud. And I want to look back at my time and look at my time in office and think, yeah, you've done well. You've set a goal and you've reached your target. So I just want to be proud of my time in office.
Thank you very much, Christian, for sharing those wise words. And I'm sure that you're going to do an amazing job during your term. Thank you, Your Worship, for being with us today. Continue to do the great job that you're doing in everything that you're doing, not just as Mayor of Gibraltar. And thank you to our audience that has joined us from all over the world. It has been a pleasure once again to share this cultural exchange and hosting you live from the Rock of Gibraltar, bringing our cultures closer together. Good night and stay safe.
Thank you, Henry.